This is chapter 19, blood vessel. So we have AA of the atrial and artery, and we have VV, venule and vein. So they are run side by side. But in the AA that AA it has, so you can see the picture right here. So the AA have thicker mid media tuna media, which is it has because it has elastic membrane and muscular. It has bigger muscular. It has bigger muscle to pump blood because already has to go pump blood from the heart to all over the body. And the vein they have they have like smaller vessel, but therefore in addition to that they have bigger lumen because it has to move. It it has lower pressure and in the vein the VV it also had valve. Remember, in the venous return, that we have the push from the left ventricle, the skeletal muscle, no, the muscular pump, the respiratory pump, the one-way valve, and the pull from little bit of pull from the right atrium. So as I told you that the blood vessel it has three layers: tuna intima, tuna media, and tuna externa. So the lining of the intima is gonna be endothelial endothelium of the epithelial lining, endothelial of the epithelial lining. And in the media, in the tuna media, which is the muscles just like the heart, the medial cardium is responsible for vasomotor such as vasoconstriction. Constriction means that the lumen gets constricted, gets smaller. Vasodilation means you open the lumen, and when you open the lumen, the pressure increase. When you tighten the lumen, the pressure decreases. It is also affected by afterload, peripheral, and capillary blood flow. So for the afterload and the capillary, it doesn't have any walls or muscle. It just have epi, epithelial lining, just for in order to exchange gases and nutritions. So arterioles, the only thing that affected arterial is sympathetic. That can either that can only lower the pressure down, and sympathetic related to endocrine simulation of the hormone. Uh, we have a neurosm and we have aneurysm, which is when the weak pump of the aorta and like it doesn't it it can pops when you exercise, when you have excessive exercise. Aneurysm, that's what it's called. So in the capillaries, like we have three types of lining. We have continuous lining, which is the strict the strictest. It is for it's for moving up the water solute, small solute, and lipid solute materials. It's the strictest. And we have fenestrated capillaries, usually found in the kidneys for filtration of the kidney, and sinusoidal, usually found of the liver. It has pores or like openings to secrete either to secrete stuff. And in the local control, local control the capillary, we have pre-capillary splinter. That's like it blocks blood from going from branching. You can either block it, or if there's a lot of blood that it need to be supplied, the pre-capillary splints are gonna open to get the flood in the needed area. And 5% of blood 5% of the blood is gonna be in the capillary, and 66% is gonna be in the veins and venule. So you have 66%. If you got hit, you got a cut, that 66% is gonna go into the capillary, and the other 5 gonna be into capillaries. 66% veins and venule. And we have angiogenesis, which is when you get bigger, when you hit puberty, your body grows, you become fat. You're gonna make new blood vessel in order to supply a new area that you've gone into. Neoangiogenesis is when the cancer tissue, they make their own blood vessel to supply to feed themselves. And we also have varicose veins, is when the valve in the VV get leaky. And anastomosis is the connection, the branching of the blood vessel. There are some factors, some resistance that affect the blood pressure. We have blood viscosity. The thicker the blood, the harder it is to move. And hematocrit plays a part in it, with EPO and dehydration. And we have blood vessels length. The longer it is to move the blood, the more pressure it needs. And we have blood vessel diameter, again, vasomotor constrict, vasoconstriction, vasodilation, and turbulence. It's like viscosity, that how many, is there any like debris in the blood that you get to move it. And we have systolic divided by diastolic. Again, systolic is when the ventricle pumps, and diastolic die is dead, like the ventricle dead, like it doesn't do anything. That's why atrial is gonna pump for the ventricle. And when you have over 20%, 120 is gonna be hypertension, and you have lower than 120 is gonna be hypotension. So the mean arterial pressure is the blood, like in the isovolumetric isovolumetric relax is when the blood not moving any blood, not in the when the heart is not pumping any blood, and the blood just move by itself in the systematic system. So to find the map, the mean arterial pressure is the formula right here. uh, Diastolic pressure multiplied by 2 at and plus systolic pressure, and all together divided by 3. And Karpov cell is the cell of the stethoscope. And to to hear that sound, we're gonna use spectrometer. We use spec spectrometer, and I'm sorry, we use sphygmomanometer. Sphygmomanometer. And we have elastic rebound, is when the aorta pumps, it recoil, and when it stop pumping, when it's diastole, when it return to the diastolic stage, the rebound, the recoil keeps pumping the blood even though it's not actually pumping any, it's not actually contract. So the regulation of blood vessel, we have cardio output, peripheral resistance, and blood volume. It depends on those three: cardio output, peripheral resistance, and blood volume. So from the AA to the C and to the VV, the blood diffuse from lower pressure to high, from higher pressure to lower pressure through the fenestrated capillaries. So in the filtration, the filtration is from the artery to the capillary. The filtration is helped by capillary hydrostatic pressure, like the pressure in the capillary in the artery is gonna, because it has higher pressure, it goes into the capillary which has lowest pressure. And capillary hydrostatic pressure is the highest pressure right now. And in the capillaries, the fluid fuses into the cell space. And in the VV, in the reabsorption, which is the opposite of filtration, with the help of B cup, I could say B cup because it's called B coli ostom osnomic blood coil blood coli ostomic pressure, because you have plasma protein, specifically albumin. You're gonna suck the fluid back into the VV. Or the absorption is only account for 85%, and the other 15% is gonna go into the lymph of the next chapter. And if you have too much filtration into the capillaries, something edema, that you causes edema. And and when you're bleeding, hemorrhaging, the blood that needed the blood that the fluid that's in the blood go into the capillary drops. And when you're dehydrated, the albumin is gonna try to squeeze to suck all the fluid in the capillaries, increase the reabsorption, increase the need for the water. So circulatory shock, we have either reversible or irreversible or reversible. In the irreversible ones, that albumin leak into the swell space, and there's no way that you're gonna cause swelling, edema in the swell space, and you can see the swelling in your body. And like I said, that AA atrial is only uh, the sympathetic only simulate arterial. And we have auto regulation. In the auto regulation, the cardio output stays the same. It changes the peripheral resistance. So when you have homeostasis, you have issues with homeostasis such as stress, chemical changes, or tissue increase in tissue activity such as exercising. You're gonna need a lot of blood flow to supply the tissues. And if you have a lot of blood flow, it means you have increase in blood pressure. And if you have exercise, that you have to open the local control of the precapillary sphincter. And when you open it, of course, you have vasodilate. and then homeostasis restored. And we have central regulation when auto regulation is not there anymore, and it's directly uh, goes into your um, capillary output. Remember, capillary output is heart rate times to cardiac cycle. So when you talk about the heart, you have neural and sympathetic endocrine. So for neural in the heart, that you only increase sympathetic, and as the sympathetic, you only increase the blood pressure, which is increase the blood volume. And for long-term effects, it's gonna be hormone. In the chapter 16 that we have aldosterone, angiotensin 2, ANP, and ADP. So we have some receptors in the aortic arch and carotid body. We have baroreceptor that pressure the blood, that measure the blood pressure and determine whether what vasomotor is gonna be there. We have chemoreceptor in the medulla oblongata. It's gonna pressure the oxygen, carbon hydrate, no, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and the pH. Uh, so when you hold your breath, the oxygen decrease and the carbon dioxide increase, and then the blood is become more acidic, and the brain, medulla oblongata, detects that it it wants your lung to get oxygen. It forces your lung to get oxygen. That's why become your heart rate increases in order to increase the cardio output, in order to increase the blood pressure for blood volume, for blood flow into the needed tissues. And we also have bro proprioceptor that sensor the stretchiness of the blood vessel, and high brain center. Emotions can affect your heart rate. So when you're bleeding, hemorrhaging, the cardiovascular system try to maintain the blood pressure and restore the, the blood loss. So we have two ways again: endocrine, which is using the hormones, ADH, acetylsinogen, and also EPO. Those things gonna uh, keeps you keep retain the water, which is increase the blood volume, and homeostasis is restored. And for neural response, when such as stress, fear, pain, anxiety, the baroreceptor and chemoreceptor, the higher brain center detects that and tells the baroreceptor and higher baroreceptor and chemoreceptor to increase the brain in the brain. It increases the sympathetic and the heart, and tell the heart to either constrict or dilate in order to restore the blood volume. So there are some special regions that need more blood flow than the other. In the brain, first of all, we have the brain is a top priority. Without the brain, you're nothing. You're dead. And like I told you, higher center, it either use the endocrine or tells the endocrine to to use sympathetic or other cardiovascular to increase the heart rate. And speaking of vascular, we have cerebrovascular accident. Vas- Cerebrovascular accident is when the superior artery is blocked, in the worst case, rupture. It stops blood, blood flow. And another region that we have is heart, and we have coronary artery. The the most important thing is epinephrine. It increases dilate vessels to increase the heart rate, which therefore stroke volume and ultimately cardiac output. And you're gonna have a heart attack when your coronary artery is blocked. And before that, you're gonna have angina. It's like chest pains. It's like a pre precursor that tells you you're gonna have myocardial infarction. Just just be careful. And last region is lungs.